The hospital brochure said St. Ivelyn Medical Center had 4 floors: basement, first, second, fourth. Most people laughed when they noticed. A printing error, obviously, or an old superstition. The staff never corrected anyone. They just smiled the way people do when a question isn't meant to be answered. Mara Ellison noticed because she had time to notice things. She had been sitting in room 412 for 3 nights, listening to machines breathe for her brother. Daniel lay perfectly still, except for the slow rise of his chest. A coma, they said. No brain damage. Just waiting. Waiting for what? No one could say. At 2:13 a.m., Mara heard footsteps outside the door. Not hurried, not careful, just deliberate. She opened the door. The hallway was longer than it should have been. Hospital hallways are practical things. They go where they need to go. This one stretched farther, the floor tiles repeating until her eyes ached. At the far end stood a nurse she didn't recognize. The nurse wasn't moving. She wore the right scrubs, the right badge, but the badge was turned backward. Her face was half shadowed beneath a surgical cap. "Can I help you?" Mara asked. The nurse lifted her head slowly. Her eyes were red like she hadn't slept in days. "You shouldn't be here," the nurse said. "My brother," Mara began. "You shouldn't be awake," the nurse corrected. Then she turned and walked away. Her footsteps echoed too softly for the distance she covered. When Mara reached the end of the hall, the nurse was gone, and so was the hallway. It ended in a wall. The next morning, Mara mentioned it to the day nurse. He smiled gently. "Third floor delirium," he said. "Long nights will mess with you." "There is no third floor," Mara replied. He paused just a little too long. Exactly. That afternoon, Mara went looking for medical records. Hospitals had a way of hiding their oldest rooms. Corridors narrowed, ceilings dropped lower, signs pointed in vague directions, like they were guessing. Medical records sat behind a frosted glass door that hadn't been cleaned in years. Inside, shelves sagged under paper files no one bothered to digitize. She searched names at random and found patterns instead. Mara stopped sleeping after that. Every night she stayed in the chair by Daniel's bed, counting the beeps of the monitor, watching the door. The hospital grew louder the later it got. Pipes knocking, carts rattling, the distant ding of elevators that never seemed to arrive. At exactly 2:13 a.m., footsteps passed the door again. She didn't open it this time. She waited until they faded, then stepped into the hall. Normal, short, clean. She walked to the stairwell at the end of the wing. The sign read, "Stairs, floors B, 1, 2, 4. Her fingers hovered over the handle, locked. The next night, she tried a different stairwell. Same sign, same lock. On the third night, she found a stairwell with no sign at all. The door opened easily. The stairs went down when they should have gone up. After 12 steps, the lights shut off. Mara backed away, heart hammering, and the lights snapped back on, as if offended. When she turned, the door behind her was gone. Patients listed as stable. No discharge dates, no transfers, no deaths. Just a handwritten note beside each name. Moved to 3F, Mara's hands began to shake. She flipped through more files, dozens of them, all different ages, all different conditions, all gone the same way. She confronted the attending physician that night. The woman closed the door before Mara finished speaking. "You didn't see a nurse," the doctor said flatly. "I spoke to her." "There is no third floor." Mara leaned forward. "Then where do people go?" The doctor's voice dropped. "Your brother has been asking for you." Daniel's eyes were open when Mara entered the room. They didn't focus on her face. They focused past her. "Mara," he whispered, "I tried to come back." She grabbed his hand. "From where?" "The floor between," he said. The monitors began to spike. The lights flickered, and the nurse was standing at the foot of the bed. "No," the nurse said calmly. "Not yet." No one else reacted. Doctors rushed in, shouting numbers, adjusting machines, but they walked right past her. Mara screamed. The nurse met her eyes. "People fall through cracks," she said. "Hospitals have many." The bed began to slide backward. The wall rippled. The third floor smelled old. Not dirty, just forgotten. Like air that had been breathed too many times and never let outside again. The lights were dim but steady, casting long shadows that didn't quite match the objects making them. Beds lined the halls. Not rooms, halls. Curtains hung between them, some half-pulled, some torn down entirely. IV poles stood beside beds with no machines attached. Heart monitors sat dark and silent, their screens clouded as if they had been turned off years ago and never wiped clean. People lay in the beds. They were breathing, whispering, crying softly into nothing. "This was supposed to be temporary," someone murmured as Mara passed. A man with a thick beard and a hospital bracelet, yellowed with age, laughed quietly to himself. A child stared at the ceiling, lips moving as if counting something only she could see. An old woman rocked gently, humming a song that skipped the same two notes over and over. Mara pushed Daniel forward. "What is this place?" she demanded. "A delay," the nurse said calmly, "for those who aren't ready to leave and aren't allowed to stay." "How long do people stay?" Mara asked. The nurse didn't answer. An old woman reached out and grabbed Mara's sleeve. Her grip was shockingly strong. "They tell you it's temporary," she whispered, "but temporary just means no one is keeping track." Mara swallowed. "What happens if no one takes your place?" The woman smiled, missing 3 teeth. "Then you fade," she said, "and the floor gets quieter." Somewhere behind them, a bed shuddered, then collapsed inward, dissolving into a thin layer of dust that drifted across the tiles before vanishing completely. No alarm sounded. No one came. "Then let him go," Mara said. The nurse studied her. "Someone has to take his place." Mara understood before the words fully landed. She kissed Daniel's forehead, stepped back. "No," he tried to say. The floor tilted. Light collapsed. Daniel woke up screaming in room 412. The sound tore out of him like something being pulled loose. Nurses rushed in, voices overlapping, hands pressing him back into the mattress as he clawed at the air, begging for a name he couldn't quite say. His sister was gone. Her chair sat beside the bed exactly where she had left it. Her coat was folded over the back, still warm, still smelling faintly of her shampoo. Her phone lay face down on the floor. The screen cracked, the lock screen frozen at 2:13 a.m. No one could explain when she had left. Security footage showed Mara Ellison walking calmly down the 4th floor hallway at 2:12 a.m. She paused once, as if listening to something no one else could hear, then turned into a stairwell that didn't exist in any map. The camera glitched as she crossed the threshold. 3 seconds of static, then nothing. The stairwell itself was never found. Maintenance swore the wall had always been solid. Blueprints disagreed, but only on older copies. The newer ones had no gaps, no annotations, no erasures. It was as if the building had decided what it wanted to remember. Daniel recovered. Doctors called it a miracle, a delayed awakening, an anomaly they would be happy to write papers about once the paperwork settled. He refused to stay in room 412. He refused to sleep with the lights off. Sometimes in the early morning, he would wake shaking, insisting the room felt too long, that the walls had moved farther apart while he slept, that he could hear beds rolling somewhere beneath him. Once, during a routine check, a nurse entered his room with her badge turned backward. Daniel screamed until she left. Weeks later, the hospital brochure was quietly updated. No announcement was made. No explanation offered. Basement, first, second, third, fourth? Patients stopped asking why the elevator buttons sometimes felt warm. Staff stopped noticing that the third-floor call light rang even when no one was admitted there. And on certain nights at exactly 2:13 a.m., footsteps could still be heard in the halls, unhurried, deliberate, leading somewhere that no longer needed to hide. No one ever asked what changed, because the hospital finally learned how to keep it.